Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Jane and this is MJ Money Matters. Here in this space, I show you how I use the zero-based budgeting method to control and maintain a simplified money life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and stick around for more. Hi, welcome. It's the day after the worst day of my life thus far. So, I guess a virus, perhaps like kitten parvo, or something of that effect has come into my home, and it's a plague. It's a plague. So I lost the little kitty Orange Julius, and thought it was because he had an injury that had caused an infection. And that may have been. But that infection then spread. And I lost Black Phillip yesterday. There are 4 kittens total. And 1 mama cat. And then my 2 cats that came with me from Texas that are vaccinated. Mama cat is not. She only came in about 2 months ago. After she'd been hit by a car, she finally relented and agreed to come in. So I took her to the vet when that happened, of course. And it was decided to let her recoup, let her regain her strength and all that before we do all the vaccinations and shots. So she doesn't have any of those things. So I worry about her as well. And then I've got her son from a previous letter who lives in my basement. His name is Dreamsicle. He lives in my basement by choice. He's not banished to the basement. But he is also not vaccinated because he won't let me really he's semi-feral. He won't let me get close to him. So I would have to figure out some sort of trap to get him to do that. But because of the nature of the virus itself, it's very susceptible to kittens and their immune systems. So it's just been a very hard day. The smallest one, the little runt, her name is Toast. She's the brave little toaster. And her tummy sounds like a noise factory. So she is showing severe symptoms, but she's not suffering yet. But it's a 90% chance fatality and only a 10% chance of survival. I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst. Having an emergency fund was essential to taking care of this. I did reach out and ask for help as well, because it has been devastating, both emotionally and financially, because it is the weekend, and I had to use the emergency vet, which, if you're not aware, is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times more than going to a normal vet because of the convenience and the urgency and the 24/7-ness. I get why they charge what they charge, but it's nonetheless devastating financially for me. I did have a coworker, who was like, well, just say your goodbyes and dump them in the country. And I do realize that some people do that. But I cannot. That is not who I am. These guys are my family, and I couldn't just dump them to die alone. I do imagine that I will probably lose little brave toaster, and it will probably happen today or tomorrow. So I'm spending the day with them. I'm very much hoping I don't lose the mother. That might come to that. And then, of course, there is another kitten who seems to be very healthy and it seems to be okay at the moment, and her name is Princess Buttercup. So, needless to say, my budget went to pieces. I don't even know what to say about that. I paid the important bills and everything else went to vets. I raided my emergency fund. I raided Turo. I raided everything. So, oh yeah, and then, so I go to work at the restaurant last night and literally made like nothing because it was a really big game, U of M versus Michigan State. And it's, you know, a sports bar with giant TVs, and I thought people would go there to watch, and they did not. So I went there, just kind of hung out. And then when I left my house, trying to go to work, I was, you know, frantic and angry, and I had just realized that Toast was showing symptoms. And I turned my key angrily in the door, and it broke in half. So I had like a meltdown on my front porch. It was like throwing keys, and yeah, it was very bad. And then someone who betrayed me messaged me and like, hey, when are you gonna come get that stuff? Can we get a date for you to come get that stuff? It's just like, yeah, I can't have this conversation today. And the money that I've saved to go get the stuff 1,000 miles away, I'm using on my dying cats. So this has not been the most upbeat of budgeting videos. Thank you for being here. I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful that I had money set aside for emergencies, because life being lifey, it happened. And I feel better today. I feel like I'm more emotionally together today. Though I am going through extreme grief, I'm not like uncontrollably sobbing like yesterday. And, you know, it's going to take a while to get through this, and it's not done. So, yeah. Okay, so I have to put aside $200 for the mortgage. My guesstimate is around $1,100. Honestly, I have no idea. I am going to work at the restaurant, but I only got a couple of days, so it sort of lowered the estimate based on the fact that like I worked yesterday and there wasn't much happening there. And it was like a Saturday night too. I was just like, where is everyone? It's not a usual thing. It was an unusual thing. It seemed like, you know, half of Michigan was at the game and the other half was at some other bar watching the action. I didn't see much. I just looked up and saw someone injured, and I'm like, oh, look away, look away. It seems like most of the time when I look up in sports, someone's injured. So I'm like, I feel like it's me. Is it my fault? I know it's not my fault, but what are the odds? All right, so American Water, I'm putting aside $10. Cigna, $30. Electric, that electric bill is $70 this time around. It's about to get really cold, and that's going to go up tremendously. So I'm going to try to figure out ways to make it less shocking than last year. I had, you know, covered all the windows with like the heavy plastics, and that really didn't do anything other than make my windows look really ugly. You would see the wind would come in, and the plastic would go boop, 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 boop. So it was, you know, I mean, all my windows need to be replaced. I feel like I've mentioned that in the videos before. It's obviously not going to happen before, you know, next week. So, yes, I'm going to be scoping internet, what is it called? YouTube University, looking for ways to keep my house's heat on the inside. I feel like I turned on the furnace, it was on for months, and I feel like most of the heat went out. It was definitely not in here, that's for sure. It was freezing in this house. All right, Detroit Water, $50 this time around. Water and sewer. Internet is $55 with T-Mobile. The annoying commercials. I just want to say I signed up for the internet before the annoying commercials. At least before I was aware of the annoying commercials. $3 for Apple comes out this week. The tree stump removal, $125. I did $125 in the last one. Hopefully I don't have to read that, so that can still happen, but it might need to be moved. That's to be determined based on vet bills. The Mint annual, same thing. I might have to do 6 months instead of a full year if I do in fact need to raid this for vet bills. But we're going to go ahead and put aside the amount that I needed for the full year and see what happens. Savings, I'm putting aside $300, and that's a small dent in repaying myself back. And again, I may need to use all of it. It's so unclear. And the Weebly domain, $75. That will need to get paid very soon for my year. Hi, Turtle. Hello. You want to say hi? Come here. This is the mama. She was hit by a car, but she's doing much better now. Hello. Yes, these are her babies. And I found them in the bushes of my house in the heat of the summer. It was baking in the sun. They were about 3 weeks old at the time. And I brought them in. I didn't know where she was. I couldn't find her. And the next day she came looking for help, and she'd been hit by a car. But she made it. It was soft tissue damage. Nothing was broken. And we got her on pain meds. And, you know, she was like quarantined and limited mobility for a while, and she made a full recovery. Turo, I'm putting aside $120. It's not really going forward. It's paying back some of the money that I had to raid. And that's where that budget's going to be for next week. Until I get through this, that's the best I can do budget-wise. You know, the emphasis will be in getting back to where I was in my emergency fund, because it makes me nervous not to have it. If something else were to go wrong, you know, and it's like, if anything can go wrong, it will, like getting my key broken in half in the lock in my front door. So an emergency fund is incredibly important, I already knew, but lesson learned there, where I was like, obviously I need more, but let's get it back to what it was and then work on making it more. I hear you. Yeah. All right. Thank you if you listen in. I really appreciate you being here. It's been a really difficult couple of days, but gonna make it through. Thank you so much. Have a great day.